Okay, boom. We are
Yes.
live with PT. Greetings, PT. An
Yes.
honor, a super joy to be here today with you. Like I'm always ecstatic to come here with you. I don't always show it. I'm calm.
Yes.
I try to remain calm, but I'm
Yes.
always very, very grateful to be here with you and
Yes.
share those moments. Today we're going to talk about geometry. We're going to finish
Yes.
about the mathematics and all that stuff before we go into technologies. So geometry for me, like I've read a lot about, I've learned a lot of geometry in school, but what was taught back then, I'm sure was very different than what
Yes.
we see today. Like I'm talking flower of life and all these forms that platonic forms or stuff like that, like all
Yes.
the ancient hidden science behind geometry, and also
Yes.
the G on the Freemason and the square and compass. What is all this? Is it about geometry? Is it like you can interpret it many ways, I think.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, like the word geometry comes from geo earth, and metry means measurement. Okay. So
Okay.
in earth, you always having measurements. Okay. And measurements for, when you make a building, okay, you make this square like in a pyramid. You'll say, okay, this building will go this much, and this will be the direction, this thing. So obviously, like if you want to know, like if this, you have a square base in a pyramid and then you have this much height, then what will be the angle
Yeah.
to the that thing? So all of that, in any structural thing, you get a geometry thing, and that's where the compass will come, right? Like compass is just like an angle, this much or this much or this much, right?
Yeah.
What is the angle, right? So as we know, angles are angels, from our English talk, like, so there, all of that connects. So that's where we get into sacred geometry. From there, sacred means all angles are sacred, but there are certain figures and patterns which are underlying nature. Nature works on certain figures and patterns which replicate and add upon each other to make what we see, make up what all we see. You know, so there's a geometry in it. There's geometry in a flower. There's geometry in a leaf. There's geometry in a tree. There's geometry inside everything. So that is like lines and curves. That is the science of that. So uh, and the more main geometry which is now, which people talk about, is to do with actually construction on earth. you know and before, like, it could be to do with the ley lines even. You could geo lines are there, which are called ley lines now. So you can measure what is their strength, where they go through the lines. You can have maps on earth, which people can find online, different ley line maps of ley lines on earth. So which is connected to geomancy. It's a so
You know,
geometry is basically, um, as like we can call it not geo, like universe metry. Universe metry is basically unimetry, you can call it unimetry, or diverse metry, or anything like that, which is for the whole universe. Okay, like there is an underlying structure to the whole universe, and there'll be angles, there'll be shapes, there'll be figures in which light goes to make matter, and all kinds of things are there in that. So study of that, let's say, you know angles and shapes, basically. Yeah.
there's a lot of application for triangles, rectangles, cube,
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
the shapes
Yeah.
that we know. But is
Yeah.
there any practical application we can do of sacred geometry, like the flower of life? Can we apply that to constructions to be
Yeah.
more efficient, to be resonate more in the environment?
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. In
there must
architecture,
be
in
something we miss.
yes,
There's got to
architecture,
be
you could do
something
a
we
lot.
miss.
It's a very simple things you can start with in architecture. For example, you can have your window and door in golden ratio. So whatever the width is, multiply that by 1.618, and that be the height. Simple application into just door and window sizes. And then if you have a rectangular room, keep the um, like the length 1.618 times the width.
Yeah.
right? And the angle on roofs, keeping it 32 degrees on roofs brings that. So there are a lot of ways anything can be incorporated into architecture, arts, architecture, and you can have flower of life kind of things and different kind of things applied. uh, and a lot of ancient architecture does apply that, you know so that's why it's called sacred architecture. you know it creates a sacred field. It comes when the right ratios are there, the right measurements are there, alignments is there with the magnetic north south properly. There are a lot of things, you know which can be done in construction, where you apply the sacred geometry principles into the buildings and the architecture. you know so that is going to start happening in the future, and people will become more mindful of that because they want to create a sacred space. I mean, for that thing, keeping in um, line with the earth's ley line also, and earth's energy fields. Dowsing is there. People who go with dowsers,
Yeah.
you know and they can find where water is
Who? Yeah,
in the
yeah.
well,
I
where to
seen
dig.
a guy do that here the other day.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I
where to
found
dig.
that amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, where to dig for water.
Yeah.
Because from the eyes you can't see where the water will be closest. But with dowsing you can find that out. So there's energetics for that, right? you know
Wow.
so so all these things are there. And and they're applied also right now. There are a lot of people who just find right now, even they don't they go around with dowsing and find out where to dig for a well in so many places on earth. So so
No,
it
it's
is.
amazing what we can do, but that's
Yeah,
like been around for thousands of
it's
years.
thousands
Also,
of years.
finding
Yes.
water, for
Yeah,
sure, they have discovered that at one point.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Sacred geometry. It's very interesting. Like you said, there's a trend right now. People tend to design their building a lot with
mm,
the sacred geometry applied into the
yeah,
buildings. It's very
yeah,
interesting, and it
yeah.
doesn't take such a huge expertise. I mean, just
No.
do a bit of research on sacred geometry, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
apply
yeah.
it to your house.
Apply it.
It's
Yeah, that's all. I mean, it's just incorporating whatever you learn into whatever you do. it's it's uh, it's just taking it to the practical step. Next step is the practical level. That's all.
were they putting these principles in application like in the 70s where they were building houses? Do you think that they had this knowledge of the
I
angle
mean,
of the
I
roof
don't think
and the
this was taught to the architects which were designing
no,
modern
that's it.
housing.
That's
No,
what I thought. Like
no,
it's not something that is taught in
no, no, no,
architectural
no, no, no,
school.
no, no, no.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
it.
the point is to trouble the masses, not to.
Yeah. The point is to mesmerize them, not to educate them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
now, technologies, PT, there's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to go through. Now, I have 3 pages of things I want to ask you, but I want to start with the clothes we are wearing because it's
yes,
very important. We all wear clothes.
yes,
I haven't seen no one naked in the street lately, so we all wear clothes.
yes,
Now, those clothes carry a frequency. This blew my mind when I read it. I wasn't even aware of that. You told me in the past that clothes were very important in this, but I don't think we went deep enough to analyze all the frequency and stuff. But cotton, linen, wool, all these fabrics carry a frequency. Matter of fact, everything around us carry a frequency.
frequency. Yeah, so
It's
the,
crazy.
the
You can
frequency is like
measure
even a
it.
stone has a frequency. Like when people have stones, and then they're semi-precious stones and they cut into, when people wear jewelry,
Yeah.
So I mean, all metals have frequency. Tin, gold, silver, all of them have their own frequency. Everything has. There's not a material object on earth which doesn't have a frequency.
It's
Okay,
when you
nothing,
anyway. Go
nothing
ahead.
in matter.
I'll let you.
So the point with the clothes was, okay, like if it's coming from nature, like cotton, the natural cotton, not the GMO cotton, but the,
Yeah, natural.
the natural cotton, uh, that is tuned to earth, And since our bodies are made up of earth, it's tuned to us. So there'll be a resonance there. When man-made fabrics happen, okay, they also have a frequency, but that frequency will not necessarily, harmonize with our frequency, because it's not been made with that in mind. When earth is making something, nature is making something, everything is being made in the same palette, like it's sort of connected, harmonically resonant with each other. So yeah, so I mean, even silkworms are nature, they make the thing, so the silk is produced, that is also nature's production. And so different wool, also sheep and stuff, that's so all of those natural fabrics, and the wood pulp, whatever, that is got its own frequency, which is closer to human and more resonant and harmonic with us. So obviously that will not disturb our frequency, at least minimum. But the so-called man-made fibers, they can create all kinds of disturbing effects. So I have
Yeah,
so that's
when you take polyester, for
yeah,
example, it's like
yeah,
10 megahertz, where you have wool, the sheep stuff, at 5,000 megahertz,
yeah,
and linen at 5,000 megahertz.
yes,
This is a huge frequency. When you think
yeah,
about your own body, you're about 100.
yeah,
Healthy, healthy, you're 100. But you know what? You can even measure the frequency of a sick person.
yeah, yes.
That was
Yes.
so.
So, I mean, yeah, it'll be less than a sick person also. The
Yeah,
the man-made fibers will be even less than a sick person. So,
yeah,
so then the point is, they are obviously disturbing your auric field. What I'll call a auric field. You have auric field around your body, you know, and it's like putting a that thing gate
yeah. It
o-
makes like,
uh, on
and
it. Yeah,
especially when you think about the, like, there's certain trends they push on people, like the Lululemon and stuff like that. Lululemon.
yeah,
I call it
yes.
Lululemon. But yeah, there's forever chemicals in there, and like it's sick, and it's plastic. You're basically wearing plastic.
Yeah, and a lot of people start wearing plastic in different things, different ways and stuff, without knowing that it'll have a bad effect on the body. I- if not on your spirit, because spirit you can do different things for, but at least the body it'll harm. So which comes again under the same that thing, like basic things like diet, um, clothing, and your places of living. And there has been a lot of things done to it, negative things in this age, which is reducing the lifespan of people, basically. That's the final result. you know so in this day and age, I mean, you can't always get everything right in that way. So whatever time you have on earth, at least you can do the right actions with for by yourself, that you can do, because it becomes very hard to control the external circumstances, but at least your own actions you can control and do. you know so so lifespan is definitely going to come down through all those things, and which has happened. And then they try to increase that a little bit by going to these allopathic hospitals and stuff. So uh, so there is this whole thing, like first you're reducing it, then you are extending it in an artificial way for a little bit under pain and duress. So there are both things happening. So if you didn't
So
have the first, you don't need the second.
so on top of wearing rubber
Yeah,
sole, where we are also wearing plastic socks.
yeah,
Like there's no contact to
yeah.
the
But
earth
but rubber
at
is
all.
actually natural. Rubber actually grows on trees. You know,
Yeah, rubber.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Rubber is trees. I mean, so rubber is a good substance. It was not. It was a natural substance. Now plastic, they are using plastic soles, not rubber. Rubber is
yeah,
much more
that's
expensive.
true. The rubber comes from a tree. It comes like a white liquid coming out of
Liquid,
a
yeah,
tree.
yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is, rubber is a great substance right now compared to the
Okay,
substance.
okay, that's the thing. What we wear in our shoes is not rubber.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you'll
far
have to
from
pay much more now for rubber. And if you want proper rubber things, anything, you have to pay more. Like
Natural rubber,
yeah,
which
natural
is
rubber. Yeah.
good.
Like you said, natural rubber percentage more, the price goes up.
Latex,
Yeah,
latex
yeah.
rubber.
No, yeah. So like a natural rubber, whenever you buy, you'll find that anything, shoes or anything, will be costlier. You know, so that's what they do. Like make the natural things costlier and make the that thing cheaper. So people will always go for the cheaper.
Wow,
So,
that's something.
yeah.
But also, when I was talking about the different frequency when a person is sick, that's very interesting. Can you actually like really? How do you measure that? Like, what you take a meter and you stick it to a finger with the other finger? Like, what do you? How do you measure
I
the
think
frequency of someone?
see, okay, I'll explain
Because
something to
hold
you.
on, PT. Because often I heard people say, "Oh, I'm gonna live on a higher frequency." I've said it myself. I'm
Yes,
living on a higher frequency.
yeah.
Does that mean my frequency went up? Can
Okay,
I measure my
I mean,
frequency?
there are different. They are not actually going by. There are different levels of frequencies as well, cascades. So let's understand it like this. You know about that when there is a pulse thing. They put it onto the heart, and then you get the meter. You know, like
Yeah.
this. And when the meter goes down, and that means person is losing life, and they're about to die. Right?
Yeah.
You've seen that machine, right?
Yeah.
So like there is a, like, since human body is electrical machine, right, in that way, so there is a electrical signal coming out of it. So they're just measuring the whatever the frequency of that and the power of that,
Wow.
basically, ginseng, which in a sicker person will be lesser at the time, ginseng. Then, you know yeah.
Are they using this detection technique in hospitals? Like, do they measure our frequency?
I mean,
Like,
I think
PT is the first time I
the
think I was hearing that
I
a
mean,
sick
because
person has a lower frequency.
when people see that, like, then they put something on the chest, and then the machine shows the heart, that thing, pulse.
Okay, yeah, yeah. There is a whole bunch of numbers on those screens, eh?
And there's that line, you know
Yeah.
you know so I mean that has been shown, the oscilloscope line.
Yeah.
So I mean that's electrical machine. So there must be some electrical signal coming from you, which is making that machine is showing out there, right? So there is a, I mean, the fact that body is electrical machine, okay, in that way, has been hidden from humans. I mean, even when somebody has a heart attack, for example, okay, and their heart stops, how do they revive the person? How do they revive the person? They put electrical charge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much how you start a car. Like, with the starter motor, from the battery, you take electrical signal and you give it a,
Yeah.
right? Pretty much, you know. So, so that must show that if heart starts by electric signals, right, then heart must be electrical in nature.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, but I'm
Yeah,
just digesting everything you're saying,
yeah,
but I have something to tell you also. We've been talking a lot about putting our soul on fire and shooting
yeah.
to higher realms at our moment of death and stuff like that. Is it what we have to do to live on a high, like, let's say normally with 100 megahertz? If I bring my soul, my being to like
Mm.
200 megahertz, is that the megahertz, the frequency I need to shoot in the stars, PT?
No, there are two things. First thing is,
Something like that.
there's a thing called psychological sorting. Okay, like if you psychologically sort yourself, you automatically qualify for higher realms. Okay,
Repeat, please.
okay. There's this thing called psychological sorting. If you are
Psychological sorting.
psychologically sorted, that you don't have any negative feelings and emotions, you're already positive in your attitude
Wow.
towards yourself and others.
So,
So then you ascend.
yes. because it
Now,
brings your
so
frequency up.
another way of saying that, another person would say, oh, your frequency has risen. Obviously, when you do psychological sorting, your frequency will automatically rise. Okay, so you're not artificially trying to increase your frequency. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the wrong way of looking at it. Do you know what I'm saying? You are just, as a human being, trying to sort yourself out psychologically. Okay, if you sort yourself out, do you know what I'm saying, by doing the meditation and these things, then your frequency is automatically rising. You know, so and a
PT,
lot of
that
that
you,
frequency which is rising, you can't measure by any earthly instruments. Let me be very clear about that.
yeah,
There are no earthly instruments to measure this, because we are going on a level much more subtle than the measuring instruments of here. Okay, so they're measurable energies, and there are not measurable energies. Even if you take the most sophisticated instrument, you know, which catches the most slightest thing, cannot go to that level of measurement. So yeah, but
now,
for your physical body to be okay on earth and functioning well, that kind of things can be measured for your physical body only. I'm not talking about your spirit. Okay, there's a difference.
as above, so below, as within, so without. So if
Yeah,
we have a frequency, we can sense
yeah,
frequency. We have, I think we are the most advanced sensory machine on earth.
yes,
Definitely. There
yes,
can be more, because sometimes I just see someone and I can pick up their vibe. Like,
yeah,
what is it? My hair, the hair on my arm, like all this has to pick up something in the ether, something that people like.
yes,
This is so huge.
yes.
I'm going
So,
deep.
so
It is deep.
yeah, so but people have to understand the difference between body and spirit. Okay, body is something you take temporarily on earth. It's a temporary thing. It's not going to last. It's maybe for 100 120 years maximum. Okay, and that has its own health and own energy, frequency, charge,
Yeah.
all of that. Okay, now there is a spirit inside. Okay, which is going to come out when you leave this, just like when you put on clothes and you change the clothes, right? You don't keep on wearing the same clothes. You wear another cloth. You wear one cloth, then you wear another cloth. So bodies are the same for the spirit. Spirit takes different bodies, different times. So like all the measurements these people are doing on earth right now, they're just doing on the physical body charge
Yeah.
level, you know, but that's not going into the spirit. But the psychological sorting happens at the spirit level, because that your mind, which is a more subtle thing, it relates to your astral spirit body, not the physical body. So, so people have to. So that's where people get confused. What are we measuring exactly? You know, we
Yeah, yeah,
on Earth we are measuring physical body things. That's all. You know, but physical body, even if you are very healthy and you do everything right, do you know what I'm saying? Everything right on Earth, you'll still last 120 years only, right?
yeah.
You're not going to last more than 120, because physical body is designed in a way which it's meant to decay and degenerate by that within that time period. You know, if let's say we had perfectly practical everything, all good food, all good clothes, everything, all perfect, we'll still last 120 only. You know, years. So that's
Now I get
and yeah.
no,
But the
I
point is
get
not that.
so
Point is, uh, you matter what amount of life you have on Earth, it's what you do in that time. That's why it's not a lost case. You know, that's why people should not let this become a negative thing for them. Oh, things are so bad. Okay, things are so bad. That's fine, but you still have time, right? Whatever time you have on Earth, you can do the right thing in that time for yourself. You know, you don't have to live 120 years to do
No.
things on earth. You know, so
No,
that's
at
the most
100,
important.
it gets hard. Past 100 gets hard to do anything, I guess.
Yes, so even whatever, like, I mean, what is 60, 70, 80, whatever you live till, how you spending the time, what are you doing with that time is more important, actually. So
PT have a whole bunch of questions with frequencies. My brain is on fire.
yes.
The sun must carry the most highest frequency of all. Like
It's not
this
about
light in the sky.
no, Yannick, it's not about highest. It'll carry the right frequency for plants to grow or earth to, when the light comes.
Okay. So it's not okay.
I-
Okay.
it's about resonance. Let's understand resonance more than high and low. Okay, what is resonating for what? What are you producing? If you produce something more like higher frequency, like a laser, it can burn things. It can cut things. It's not necessarily going to always be product. We are trying to find out what is actually um, productive and what is destructive.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
wash your hand with water, but you can also cut your hand with water at 14 million psi or something like
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. So,
It
so
cuts through
yeah.
anything.
So
Water.
higher and stronger doesn't always mean something good. Depends on what has to be done. What are you trying to do? If sun is trying to give life to plants or make sure that things are happening on earth, so that's a different thing
Yeah.
completely.
Okay, I was maybe going to an extreme there.
Yeah. Because people just think values up and down. It's not like that. You know, like what is a more harmonic cascade? Like that's when music from 440 hertz, eight people tried to go to 432 hertz because 432 was more harmonic
Yeah.
with other frequencies. And 432 is a lower number than 440. So it's not like 440 is better than 432 because it's a higher number.
Okay, but PT,
Yeah.
there's a whole field to study here, the frequency in matter, like it's so big.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
I'm gonna
that's all.
say,
It's a field for study for technology, for construction, for these kind of things. You know,
okay,
and yeah,
we should just use our own body to
yeah. I
sense
mean,
the
so in nature
environment.
also, like, I mean, that way, if you go to different places, they have different energies. Your body reacts differently for two different
Yeah.
energies, systems, and all kinds of things. That's happening continuously everywhere on Earth. You know, so
And when you're in fear, your air will rise on your body too.
yeah,
That's
yeah. But the
like,
final point is, no matter what situation you are in, whether that external circumstance is better for you or not better for you, you have to do the work. Point is, don't use that as an excuse to not do the work. A human being is supposed to work in any kind of circumstance. Like, it doesn't matter that much. So it's not blaming it all on the outside. Oh, if outside is like this, how can I do something? That's not the point.
and there's so
Yeah.
much work to be done. You
Yeah.
cannot
So,
sit
so
there and say,
actions are still in your hands. Actions
yeah,
are in your hands. It's not in the hands of the circumstances or the external that thing, you know. So yeah,
wow. Anyway, PT, you
yeah,
blow my mind with this. Anyway, I have all kinds of stuff on my list. I'll just give you a bit of a water powered vehicle, hydrogen vehicle. I want to look at electric
yeah.
vehicle, robots, the creation of food now into labs and stuff. And not only that, fake food, fake bananas, fake
Um,
eggplant, fake everything. Like
next
it's
time.
not
Yeah.
like, anyway, all these stuff,
I
the
mean,
start.
if the frequency sort of technology gets to a, let's say, more advanced point, you can cure diseases by those things. Actually, you can cure diseases using like those
Oh, I
electromagnetic, you know. So that is obviously another level of the thing, but that is still on a physical level. You can't cure anything on your actual spirit level. That for that you have to work. There's no machine for that. So
Anyway, it's so big what you gave us today. I'm gonna have to reflect on this, and I'm probably gonna come back again with stuff on frequency. Definitely expect it because my brain is going a million miles an hour, and I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff around me,
Yes.
carrying frequent. Anyway, the stars, the sky, the colors, the colors of the sky. Like, why is it blue?
I
Because
mean,
it emits a frequency,
frequency
but
vibrations
the
all
right
around. It's
one, right?
everywhere. It's everywhere. It surrounds you everywhere. Like sound,
Wow.
frequency, vibration.
And I'm sure
You're surrounded
everyone
by
listening to that
it.
today is just like me. Unless you knew about the whole frequency fabric and everything as free. I don't know everything. I come here to learn. I come here to ask questions because I'm on a quest, obviously. I think
Yes.
that's obvious. But I will keep, digging and digging for sure. It's
Yes.
very, that's what life is all about.
Yes.
So, large up PT, 31 minutes so far. So we'll be back next Wednesday
Yes.
together again
Yes.
to talk more about the frequency
Right.
stuff. Large up. Large up, everyone. Thanks. Thanks. I don't like that word. Thank you. Uh, Very grateful for your presence. There you go. Better. Eh? See ya.